You know, the truth can be an agenda. Just so we're clear, you can just be seeking out the truth. But CNN, no, their agenda is never truth. Their agenda is always a narrative that, you know, will push their ratings higher or get them up. So they have a interview with one of the Proud Boys that was at the Portland protest, and he speaks on, you know, their goals as a organization, but that's their truth. CNN has their truth. You know, that whole meme of, oh, I'm speaking my truth. Well, that comes from all the damn gynocentrism is spewing from corporate America right now, because soccer moms are in control. And if you need an example of that, look to the right of your screen. Now, baby girl on the left, I mean, she's definitely a 35%er, but it's like pissed off stepmom on the right. Nah, not so much. But hey, you guys enjoying the new setup that we got going here? I can do new magical things with this new phone, such as, see that? Nice, huh? So let's get this video started.
Sarah, we know police have already confiscated everything from bear spray to shields to metal and wooden poles. What's happening there now? Looks like things are relatively peaceful behind you.
They are peaceful. I mean,
you see the way that she kind of was like, what do you mean? Peace? Huh? Oh, okay.
What you have is the police basically separated folks from the Proud Boys and who came for that, and
So the police separated folks from Proud Boys who came for that, when the Proud Boys did not incite an ounce of violence at this event. That's, like I said, narratives.
The leftist groups like Antifa, they're on literally the other side of the river. I have with me one of the chairmen of Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio, who is here. Why did you come to Portland? Why was this brought forward? Because I do.
Why did you come to Portland? Well, I mean, why is Antifa in Portland? Good question. And secondly, hey, bro, you're looking pretty badass right there. Good looks.
I mentioned the fact that Joe Biggs said some pretty violent stuff on Twitter before, saying death to Antifa, bring your guns, and that really ratcheted things up and made people feel very nervous here that there was going to be violence brought by your group, to this city.
Okay, so first and foremost, we came over here to raise awareness for domestic terrorism. Now, that's not just for Antifa. That includes the shooting that happened in El Paso, the shooting that happened in Dayton, Ohio, the attempted firebombing in Tacoma, Washington, and the shooting at the ICE facility in San Antonio.
Then there's, like, you can go on and on when it comes to people from the left inciting and actually doing violence towards their political opposition. You know, I mean, this isn't anything new. And for CNN to, like, kind of single out the Proud Boys, who, as an organization, I've followed for the past couple of years, because when you sit there and tell someone like me, oh my goodness, these people are so, like, you know, racist and awful, I'm going to be like, oh, really? Huh? I want to look into that. I want to see what it is, because I find racism hilarious on its face, as I believe that by just being of a color, I am better or superior to this person next to me. I find that premise to be just hilarious.
Go on, but that's what we came here to do. We've been planning this for 2 months. The straw that broke the camel's back was the attack on Andy Ngo, an independent journalist that was just trying to document Antifa, and he got brain hemorrhage from it. So
and I just want to mention that was in June, so just a month ago.
Yeah, covered Andy Ngo's attack, and it's one of the reasons why I'm doing videos like this, because as we can tell, CNN has their narrative that they want to spill forward. If you notice, every question that she asks is a leading question, and props to Mr. Tarrio here for just remaining cool, calm, and collected, and really and that's the true strength of masculinity, is remaining calm and collected when you have someone in your face trying to basically entice you or trip you up.
But before that, in May, there was another melee, if you will, and some of the members of a right group that follows you guys and that tends to show up for these things, Patriot Player, one of their people just got...
But that's the thing. Pause, darling. See, it's different groups though. Right? I mean, there is a group here in New Jersey that's Antifa affiliated, that's threatening Tim Pool's event that he's having here. I'm gonna do a video on that later, but yeah, you can't. I'm still going to compartmentalize that group separately from Antifa because they're not the same thing. If you're not calling yourself the same thing, I'm not going to confuse Coke with Pepsi. Yes, it's both colas, but different. They're not the same thing. Actually, I mean, Pepsi tastes better. I love Pepsi.
Arrested, turned himself in, Joey Gibson, for writing. And so do you think this is a problem that both the right-wing groups and the left bring to the fore?
Absolutely not, especially here in Oregon. You have Patriot Prayer that went to go practice their First Amendment rights. If you look at that video, Joey was spit on, pepper sprayed. I think Ted Wheeler needs an axe to grind, and we're not going to be that group. So that's why we came here today.
And explain to me, I don't understand why you're showing up. Is it to antagonize the mayor or the...
And that's the problem with all the gynocentrism that we have. It's just a complete lack of understanding. He told you why they showed up, and it's to basically protect people who just want to, go about their lives and not be threatened by Antifa and attacked. Because that is messed up. What happened to Andy Ngo shouldn't happen to anybody in this country for simply doing what Andy Ngo was doing, was his job. That's one of the things. That's a pet peeve of mine. I do not like interrupting or berating people at their jobs because it's like even strippers, right? Like I go to the strip club and just drink my drink. Yeah, at work. I don't really want to. I know that and that's another messed up part about strippers is that I know you don't really like me. You're just here. That it's your job is to get every dollar out of my pocket that you can. Come on, man, stop it.
Because there are people here, people of color in particular who I've talked to, that feel like they're being terrorized because of some of the language that is used by groups like yours against them. And you all have...
It's so interesting how she brings up people of color while talking to what is a person of color. I mean, they sit there with these narratives such as white supremacy and all this other nonsense when, they, within the ranks of a lot of these groups, are people of color who share the same ideologies or share the same mindsets. And instead of sitting down and saying, hey, it's like the whole deplorables Trump supporter thing. Like, oh, you're a Trump supporter, then that automatically makes you this, that, and the third. Instead of sitting down and talking with, hey, well, why do you like Trump? Why is he your guy? Instead of actually looking to have a conversation, what they want to do is slap labels on people and just say, yeah, that's what you are and that's what you're forever about, and that's nonsense.
History also in Manhattan. There's a case right now where there's videos out there of 10 members of your group or people that are around your group
they went ahead and they
that's
threw a
not
glass
the way that the city.
That's fine.
That's not the way the city sees it.
The political powers of the governor and the mayor of New York. Same thing that Ted Wheeler wants to do. I've had an open communication, open dialogue with Portland PD for the past month. And then here we are. There was two different stories. There was Portland PD's story and Ted Wheeler's story. And again, Ted Wheeler needed an axe to grind. So what we did is our message was bold today. Our message wasn't, we didn't stay there. We didn't antagonize anybody. We held our hands in prayer. We bent a knee. And then we went ahead.
For all y'all Kaepernick fans, they bend their knees right. Golly. Y'all should see some of the comments that are on the Marcellus Wiley video, because no, man, no, Marcellus Wiley don't have no point. And then they just leave it bro, there's nothing for me to bounce off of when you just say no and angrily stomp off.
When we left, we sent our message with zero violence.
What is the message that you are trying to send?
He just told you.
Because a lot of people see the message as one of intolerance, xenophobia, racism.
All the buzzwords, right? Oh, just all the buzzwords. My goodness. And she's asking all of these leading questions. And it's come on, stop it. Cut it out. This is journalism with an agenda. This is not, and the agenda is not truth. The agenda is narrative.
The message that you are trying to actually
just a second ago, you mentioned people of color, right?
Yeah.
And you said, and I'm a person of color, right? I'm Cuban, right? My family, two of my family members.
I'm Cuban B.
Got killed in Castro.
I know you're all frightened at the moment.
Castro's regime.
CNN, you and your ads are... oh my goodness, I should have looked out for that. I'm sorry, guys.
So it's a difference of opinion, whether it's people of color, white people. It's always about race. Our message isn't... Today, our message wasn't about race. Our message has never been about race. When you join our ranks, we don't ask you what race you are, what religion you are. We just accept you for who you are. We have liberals, and a lot of liberals. There's actually one prominent liberal that's here that's part of our ranks.
Liberals would probably dispute that, to say that you guys have a lot of liberals as a part of your group.
Liberals would probably dispute that, to say that you have a lot of liberals as part of your group. That's the thing. In this instance, where I feel like Mr. Tarrio is coming from, is that they saw the violence taking place. They saw Andy Ngo not be defended at all, particularly by the police, who were nowhere to be found, and so they took it upon themselves to come out there, pray a little bit, and be a presence for those who have oppositional views towards those of Antifas. Not everybody wants to be communist. Not everybody wants to be socialist, and that's okay. That's one of the things in this country. That's one of the beautiful things in this country, is that you can believe whatever the hell it is you want to believe. And in your little states and your little municipalities, you can even implement such things. But as we've seen, and throughout all of urban America, for the most part, that implementing a lot of the socialist type ideas and programs only breeds corruption more than anything else. So this is a really terrible interview given by the soccer mom over there.
And you call yourself male chauvinist, right?
No,
what does that mean? That's out there on.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yes,
You're
it is.
falsifying. It's not.
See, he as a member of the organization is telling her, no, it's not male chauvinist, it's something else. But she's like, yes, it is. It's male chauvinist. You're being such a male chauvinist.
Male chauvinist.
What
and
is
your
it?
viewers can watch that.
Western
It's
chauvinist?
chauvinist.
She said it before he did. Yeah. But honestly, Lucas did this video, and like that point right there was when I was like, yeah, I really want to break this one down too, because like she's leading, she does absolutely nothing but ask leading questions this entire interview, and it's a little and props to Mr. Tarrio once again for keeping his cool, because that's aggravating as hell when you got this woman who's sitting there talking about, oh, I can't understand, then sit your ass down, bring me somebody who does. Jesus.
Yes.
Okay,
so
Western chauvinist, what does that mean?
That was false, that what you just said?
No, what does that mean? What is?
And he was like, can you say that was false, what you just said? No. Guys. What does that mean? This lady, man, like for real, this is what passes for media. This is why, see, then you just can't defend this nonsense. You really can't. You cannot take this organization seriously at all.
What is a chauvinist? What do you mean?
A chauvinist is somebody that's patriotic and extremely proud of their country. So you tried to twist my words and say that my group is male chauvinist. There's a big difference.
I'm letting you speak about it.
No,
I'm letting you speak about it. No, I just said Western.
No, you said
I said male chauvinist, then corrected myself. Said Western chauvinist. What does that mean?
You corrected yourself after the pushback from him, because like, and that's the thing, you didn't correct yourself. You went with what you knew was the proper term off top. She said it before he could even get it out of his mouth. Western chauvinist.
A lot of people hear the word chauvinist and they think male chauvinist. They think of people, and what you say on the website.
She's not wrong in that. Like, a lot of people hear the term chauvinist, and because it's had such a negative connotation towards the phrase for the past couple of generations, they're like, oh, well, that's just a negative thing. You just don't like women. That's really where it comes in at, when really I think chauvinist on its face is just taking pride more than anything in a certain aspect. And I think when they call themselves Western chauvinists, that is pride in Western life and Western civilization.
And what you have heard from Gavin McInnes, who created this group, is that this is only for people with penises. That is literally what has been said. So isn't that a male chauvinist?
So let me ask you something. So women.
Okay, lady, like that's the thing. I mean, You like you see how she's like, oh, I can't understand, I don't understand, despite the fact that she understands perfectly fine, and she knew exactly what she was saying, and she knew exactly what she was doing. This is a part of the reason why male-only groups tend to prop up and tend to exist, because you have just this. We have different brains. Men and women are biologically different. We have different brains. So thusly, when you break, and we've all seen it. You sit there, tell a female something, and she gives you this look of, what the fuck did you just say to me? Like, just not, it doesn't completely all catch on eventually. Then you gotta slow walk her back through it like 3 or 4 times. And the same thing happens with a lot of these guys out here nowadays as well. No. There's no sexism here. There's a lot of guys that are just as slow these days, but, you know, and that's generations of single mother households. But I digress. Deal is that she is just proving why such spaces need to exist. And once the corporate space got infiltrated, they started bringing all these HR departments in there. Then it was game over. It was a wrap, and that's how you end up with reporters who are more activists than reporters, who are looking more for narratives and more to press, this their own ideology, their own viewpoint, as opposed to the truth.
Those groups, women's rights groups that are all women, are they sexist too?
There are women's groups who allow, like the women's movement,
so
they want males to come out and be...
I'm sorry, the women's club, are they a sexist group?
What women's club are you talking about? What are you referring to?
The women's...
Any one of them, now, wow, mad, knock yourself out.
Club, the National Women's Club, that only accepts women, are they sexist?
Let me ask you something.
It's a men's group, it's a drinking club.
Right, but that's what I'm asking you. You're saying Western chauvinist.
Celebrates women also.
So it's something that celebrates men, but you say Western chauvinist, right?
It celebrates a traditional American family. It celebrates a male, celebrates a female.
So let me ask you something about the president. The president tweeted today that he is looking at the possibility of making Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. Yes. Should white supremacist groups also be considered the same?
Yes, they should. They should, and they're right. Anybody that espouses...
And the reason she asked that question is because she believes that the Proud Boys, despite speaking to, a Cuban brother, is a white supremacist group, which by having people of color in their ranks kind of, nullifies that whole white supremacist thing. And I've already gotten that retort, whereas... Oh yeah, well, white people, like white supremacy's always had, cohorts and co-conspirators, and it's just like, bruh, it's called capitalism, all right, plain and simple. It's called capitalism. You're gonna capitalize on whatever opportunity comes your way, for the most part. Come on, stop with the nonsense. We are not living in 1935, 1945, 1955. Hell, we ain't even in the 90s anymore. You guys have completely lost the damn plot.
Violence or race, they should be labeled a domestic terrorist group, just like Antifa.
And when you come out here, how do you feel about the tweet itself? Is that something that's speaking directly to you? Because what the president didn't say, because the dog whistles, and it's gonna. And I know the president's dog whistling to racists such as yourself, Mr. Enrique Tarrio. Yo. We truly do live in clown world. Mention is that right-wing groups have also been violent.
Yeah, and that's why I said the El Paso shooter. I just said it a little while ago.
No, I'm talking about what you think of the president. He mentioned one group.
The president is right. It's one tweet. He's not going to mention every single group. Right now, the focus is Antifa. We've seen them firebomb. We've seen them attempt a firebombing in Tacoma. We saw the Dayton, Ohio shooter is an Antifa member. So there's both groups. Right now, the focus is Antifa.
Right, but there's also what happened in El Paso, where the person was clearly a white supremacist with xenophobic ideas. What I'm asking you is, when you just pick one group and two groups are both involved in violence,
focus on one group and focus on another. He went ahead.
That's the thing. She's sitting here trying to just paint this blanket of, because you must have some kind of connection to to what's happened in El Paso. So she's trying to do is weave all of it together in this white supremacist, oh my goodness, people of color need to be scared narrative that drives basically all of their ratings now. Because there are still people that believe this, ridiculous as it is. There are still people that believe the CNN narrative of, oh my goodness, you know, people of color are victimized by the system and the white supremacy and all this other stuff, when in reality, the system is full and comprised of quote unquote people of color. So it really nullifies, like, you know what? White supremacy is genius, okay? Because they sat there and nullified the argument against white supremacy, isn't that? Yo.
He called out the El Paso shooter, and he called out white supremacy. Do you not remember that tweet?
Sure, I remember that tweet,
Okay,
but
perfect.
I also...
So we got white supremacy, he called out white, so basically
in
he called out
a
white supremacy, and he called out Antifa. Perfect,
But
both
in a
sides.
time when the government here and the people here that live here are extremely concerned about what's going on, to have the president just pick one...
You notice how she said the government here, right? As in that municipality, the municipality of Portland, Oregon, has its own government that should have this under frickin' control. The president shouldn't be having. Oh my goodness, my black's coming out. Shouldn't have to. The president shouldn't have to be speaking on these things because he's not the president. He's the president of the United States, not particularly Portland, Oregon. Had Portland, Oregon's mayor sat there and told, hey, police, do what you got to do, but anybody that's on that violence and this, take him out, take him down, lock him up, throw him and throw away the damn key. If he stepped up and did what he was supposed to do, none of this would be an issue right now. But here we are.
Group when the right has also been arrested, and not to mention
this weekend, would you be tweeting right now? Right now, you're not covering white supremacy, are you? You're covering this event, right? So when El Paso shooting happened, he tweeted about El Paso. Today, the event is Antifa. So
is it Antifa though? That you guys were the ones that organized this event. So how is this Antifa?
Because they knew Antifa would come on out. Because Antifa will happily. Antifa considers themselves are antagonists that consider themselves protagonists, you know? Like, that's what Antifa is. They're antagonists that consider themselves protagonists.
Wrong with this event today?
Nothing went wrong with Antifa either. Nothing went wrong with you guys. It has so far been peaceful. Is that what you plan on?
Really? Because I did a video a couple days ago that showed quite a bit going wrong with Antifa. So, come on, CNN. Like, you should be doing a better job, but... what do you expect at this point?
Coming here. I guess the question is why come here?
As long as Ted Wheeler keeps pandering to Antifa and not calling them out by name, we're going to keep coming out here. We're going to keep wasting his resources. He's going to call all the agencies that he's called. He's going to call the National Guard, the FBI, all of those people, and we're going to keep coming out here until Ted Wheeler does something.
What do you say to residents that say, we're paying taxes for this and you're just wasting our resources?
Well, but that's the thing. They're paying taxes for police. Like, you pay taxes for a bit of everything. Right? I mean, that you pay taxes for the roads, you pay taxes for, you know, the DMV, you pay taxes, like, all of the taxes is just one big pot. So the residents of Portland, the people of Portland, deserve better than having these goons run around their town and threaten people based off of political ideology. And that's where a lot of this protagonism, you know, I mean, like, basically what the Proud Boys has done is like that scene in Tombstone, you know, like, I'll be your Huckleberry, you know, like, if you want something to fight so bad, fight me, all right, bet. But real talk, they're like, Antifa's built of cowards, so that just don't have the upper body strength.
Taxes like I do?
All of them pay taxes.
Perfect. Then this is just as my city as my home back in Miami. This is the United States of America.
So you've come here from Miami to waste the resources of Portland.
That wasn't our original intent.
But you just said that's what it was.
Now it is.
You just hear all this leading in her, like, because you kind of walked them into this position. Like, she gradually, she was sat there and just prodded and needled until she got to a point where, like, oh, you're just happy to waste these people's taxes and resources. Well, I mean, shoot, it's better than wasting it on insurance, having to fix the things that Antifa breaks now, doesn't it? I mean, yeah, CNN is just trash bags, man.
Obviously, because Ted Wheeler needed an axe to grind, and we weren't going to be that axe.
So you're going to keep showing up
I'm
here.
going to keep showing up.
Does it bother you at all that there are groups that feel? Let me just ask you this: does it bother you at all that there are folks here that feel that they have almost emotional terror, worrying that something's going to
emotional terror? This sounds like one of those phrases that was invented for housewives when they wanted to get divorced back in the day. Like emotional terror, like all these like psychological things. Stop emotional terror. Stop it. Cut it out. This is ridiculous.
explode here, similar to what happened in Charlottesville?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said, are you worrying about, or do you care about the fact that there are people here in town that live here in Portland that are concerned about something exploding here, that something getting very violent and having their city explode, similar to what happened in Charlottesville in 2017?
They went ahead and they have a concern. I have a concern also. My concern is domestic terrorism by leftist groups.
But why do you keep coming to Portland? You're in Miami. Could you not do that there?
I don't know.
No, that's not where Antifa is now, is it? I don't know what they did out in Florida, but shoot, they definitely ain't wilding out the way that they are in Portland now, are they? And hey, shoot, concerned citizens are concerned citizens, and that's something to be in. That's something, whereas it can be super annoying, is also to be encouraged.
Well, if you know what happened to me, or your viewers know what happened to me, last time I came to Portland, I got hit with an explosive and got shrapnel on my arm and leg.
I'm sorry about that. That shouldn't happen. You should.
So that would explain why he has a bit of an axe to grind himself with the municipality of Portland, Oregon.
You shouldn't be injured, and nor should people on the other side be injured.
Hit, then they go ahead and they do the same thing.
But I guess the question begs, then why keep showing up? Because you know that that's going to engage
He just told you why.
them as well,
I'm going to
correct?
simply say the reason why I keep showing up is because this is America. I have the freedom to express myself wherever, whether I go to Michigan, whether I go to Florida, whether I go to Washington, whether I come to Oregon. Right now, I think the problem is in Oregon. Maybe you have a difference of opinion than I do, but it doesn't
There is no maybe, sir.
matter. We're going to continue to fight this fight against domestic terrorism.
So, I'm going to let him stop right there. Hey, shout out, guys. I hope you guys can achieve your goals, even though they are rather lofty, because domestic terrorism, it is a 50-state problem. I'll put it to you like that. So, with that being said, we're going to bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you liked it, toss it a like. Dislike, yeah, go ahead, do that too. I'm not scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice and want to get videos like this every single day. Share, because sharing is caring, and YouTube's definitely YouTube. BitChute, I don't know, and probably more than likely ain't going to. And speak. Let me know, what do you think in the comments? Was this nothing more than CNN trying to affirm its own disposition or belief? Or maybe you are of the mentality that CNN really that's CNN wants the truth and not just their truth, because they're on that Oprah nonsense. Oh, golly, my truth. Oh, it's my truth. You know what? That's ridiculous. So, with that being said, until the next one.